Thanks, Sonika. Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. Um, my name is Laurie Kruszynski, and I am a teacher at Scott High School. We're in Toledo, Ohio. We're an inner-city school with a high level of poverty, and my role at the school as a teacher, rather than teaching classes, is to be a data coordinator, which really means that I'm working with teachers, students, administrators, really any staff in the building to look at both student level and building level data and use it to drive decision making. We have had EWS, an EWS team here at Scott. We're going on our 6th year. Initially, we had just a school-wide team when we got started, and that has morphed into having 2 teams, a freshman team and a sophomore team that include our freshman and our sophomore cluster teachers. And as I go through this presentation, I believe the question to address is, how do you communicate with parents to keep students in school, and what's working? And we'll see what you say, and I hope to get some of your ideas as well. We're always looking for ideas here. So we do have some parent communication at the beginning of the year. Our first communication comes from our freshman cluster teachers in a letter that they send out, and that letter includes to parents the expectations for both for the students in school, but also information on credits that are needed for them to become sophomores the following year, and other expectations about attendance and behavior that we know from research all impact on a student's ability to graduate on time. After that, we have newsletters and other communications that come out from the principal of the school, and we're lucky enough here to have a parent coordinator who directly serves as a liaison with parents, and he also sends out communications and has interactions with parents where he echoes those same expectations that are communicated to parents by the cluster teachers. One of the things we like to focus on is that to let parents know that if their students do get off track for on-time graduation, that we have resources, and to coordinate what those are, to communicate to them what those resources are. So as the year progresses, luckily our freshmen and our sophomore teachers that are in the clusters have the opportunity to meet daily, and so they're constantly monitoring their students' progress. However, at the end of each quarter, they meet to do an official EWS type meeting where they analyze all of the student data and really determine who is on and who is off track for on-time graduation. And then comes another opportunity for parent communication. So they do that through letters, through phone calls, through conferences. Sometimes the conferences are with the parent and the student, or perhaps just with the parent. Some of the strategies to get back on track are really what the communications are set to focus on. What the parent needs to do, what the student needs to do, and what the school plans to do in order to help that student who's fallen off track to get back on track. The example that you're seeing here on this slide is a letter that's been sent home to parents who have a student who has a problem with attendance. And so I've kind of highlighted here that the freshman teachers are letting the parent know what the problem is, giving that communication, in this particular instance, a concern about attendance. And then the second part I've highlighted is basically how the parents are communicating, well, here's something that you can do differently to help us with this. And we have a lot of parents who, their student's absent, and maybe it is an excused absent, but they don't send that letter in, they don't send that note in or that doctor slip in. And doing this also starts more communication with the parent, so it can be two-way, so that if the parents do come in, if there's a phone call or a follow-up conference, then it helps us get to the root cause of why that problem with attendance might be taking place. Obviously, different interventions at different tiers are needed depending on what that real problem is. And so another thing we do at the beginning of the year that is a way of communicating with parents is to go on a community walk, and we actually visit the students' homes to make sure they are ready to attend school before the first day of class. So we go out a day or two before the freshman first day, and we go out in teams of teachers. We go to the homes of incoming freshmen. We bring a sign to put in their yard. We go out and canvass on foot the homes that are closest to our periphery, and then the other areas that we have a pretty large district for our school. We go out in vans or cars, or the principal will rent buses. And while we're there, we either give them a backpack with school supplies, or in some years we've chosen to leave a door hanger with the information that they will get the backpack when they get to school. Different decisions get made different years. And so in this slide, you can also see a picture of the backpacks that we give the students full of supplies. And another picture that shows a team of teachers at a student's home. And one of the things that we're able to do in this community walk is to make a communication to parents where we're letting them know what our expectations are. And in delivering the backpacks or the door hangers that tell about the backpacks and welcoming those freshmen to school, we're hoping that we communicate that we see academics and organization as important and that it's an expectation at our school. So we do a lot of efforts throughout the year, and sometimes we do get to the end of the year and we do have some students that have not earned enough credits to become sophomores in the next school year. And so we call those our ninth grade repeaters, or they get coded as an R9. At that point, it becomes really important to communicate to parents what's going on, that their student is off track, but that there are ways for that student to get back on track. Initially, we're letting them know that there are options for credit recovery over the summer, making sure that they know what forms need to be filled out, what resources are available to perhaps cover the cost of that credit recovery, and then also to let them know that, we're not giving up on their student and they shouldn't give up on their student, that in the next school year we have sophomore cluster teachers that will take them in and start looking at their data and look for ways to help them set goals, plans to get back on track, perhaps more opportunities for credit recovery. And I'm excited to tell you that the young man that you see who graduated last year in this picture is with one of our counselors, Ward Ensign, and this young man did graduate on time. However, at the end of his freshman year here at Scott, he was a ninth grade repeater, and he did not have enough credits to graduate on time. But through our EWS efforts and through communicating with him, through communicating with parents, he did graduate last year on time and took advantage of the supports and interventions that we offered along the way. So, yay, Kobe. So where do we go from here? I really, as I was putting together my piece of this webinar, I had to stop and reflect. So far, I think in the last 5 years and now going into the 6th year, we've communicated with parents about dropout prevention and about our efforts, but really it's been a lot of indirect communication, and I think we need to be more purposeful. I'm really looking forward to using the parent brochure this year. I've already communicated with some of the administrators here at Scott and then district administrators as well to perhaps get that going here and in the rest of our school system, and be more direct about why we're doing EWS and get the parents more involved in that way. It's definitely been a good process for me to do some learning. And with that, I will pass the torch on over back to Sarah, who plans to moderate the question and answer session. Thanks, everyone.